Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing the time to join us today. My name is Charles Scott. Welcome to this month's Civil Designer Software Open Classroom webinar, the 83rd in this series. In today's webinar, I'm going to be joined by Andrew Cole from our support center based at our head office here in Cape Town. Andrew has been part of the knowledge base team nearing on 15 years now and is very well known by our clients in the Western and Eastern Cape of South Africa, as well as Namibia. During Andrew's presentation today, please feel free at any stage to use the text chat service on your GoToWebinar app or web page to ask us any questions you may have. Andrew, it's been great working with you again. Please take it away.
Thanks, Charles, and welcome everyone to today's Open Classroom. In today's Open Classroom, I'm looking at designing an apron for a roundabout for your trucks and buses, the off-tracking of those back wheels, the rear wheels of the larger vehicles. So we're going to have a Stockdale roundabout and then just look at how you would go about designing the apron portion of the roundabout. So we're looking at designing the truck apron portion as well as the pedestrian walkway. So the circulatory portion of the roundabout has already been designed with our Stockdale method, and we're just adding the apron essentially. The design looking at the typical cross section would look similar to this. Your roundabout portion already designed, and then we're adding a mountable curb and then the apron section for that off tracking of the truck or bus's rear wheels. And then we're also going to add a barrier curb and a sidewalk in this case. Okay, so we're going to be using this particular project over here. So over here we've already got a Stockdale design. The roundabout's already complete. Let's just have a look at that. So the roundabout designed and completed. We just need to add our apron. Okay, so how are we going to model the roundabout apron? We're going to model another circular road on the inside of the existing circular road, roundabout circular road, and we'll add the components that are needed to make up the apron and essentially just apply that portion of the road, the conditions for that portion of the road to build up the apron. So we'll need an alignment on the edge over here of the existing circular road. Okay, so just selecting the existing circular road, I just want to have a look at the inside string. So you'd need to be in the roads application for that. Have the road selected, go road operations. I'm just going to select the string by name. And we look at the right road edge. Okay, I just need to select that. Right click, road operations, string, long section. Don't need those other surfaces. Okay, so that is a string, the road string. Looks like it's coordinated at 1 meter intervals. You can actually edit your road strings with this string long section dialog if you wanted to regrade it. Okay, but I was just checking, so that is the right road edge string that we're going to be using for our alignment. The other thing I wanted to check is the edge level spreadsheet edit super, just to check for the road we don't have any curves specified. So if you want to put in a curve on your roundabout, if you don't have the apron, then you can just put in the changes as they are over here. Basically those template changes, and then define a curve. So this would be the the curbs right if I wanted to curb it. I'm just going to define the curbs as part of the apron, so part of the template we're going to use. Okay, so I don't have to change anything over there. Okay, so that's basically what we've got, and I'm going to use the right road edge string to define my alignment for this particular road. Okay, so we need to define an alignment for the apron road, and we're going to use a horizontal alignment with 4 equal radii curves over here. So I need to get a square going so I can insert the alignment. So just bear with me, I'm going to have to put in, let's go to CAD, I just want to check what the diameter is of this circular, the right road edge string. So I'm just going to draw a circle through 3 points. So there is a road string entity, so I can do an end jump. That's my first point there. Do another end jump to there. And that's good. And yeah, another end jump. Enter. Okay, then I'm just going to use the selection cycling to select this circle. So you just keep your control key in when you're selecting, when you're clicking, and if there are multiple entities, then you get this dialog. You can select whichever entity you want to work with or view the properties of. So in this case, I actually want to check what the radius is. So that would be the radius for those horizontal curves that I need for my horizontal alignments. Just making a note, 17.997. Okay, and then I need to put in some construction lines, some geometry lines to insert my horizontal alignments PIs. So I'm going to use geometry and use our make geometry, which creates geometry lines from existing CAD, in this case from the circle. You can see that is now geometry circle, construction circle there. Okay, and then I need some geometry lines to position all my PIs. So I'm going to go to geometry line. I'm just going to use tangent to a circle for my first line. I'm indicating, just reading the prompt over here, indicate the geometry circle. That's the one I've just created. And then I'm just going to use that. That line's fine. Okay, so it's tangent. That line is tangent to the circle, that geometry circle. Okay, and then I need some geometry parallel lines. So I'm going to use that radius and diameter. So I'm going to insert geometry parallel line. I'm going to do that distance 17.997, except that's this side, and then I need another one on that end. Okay, and then I need some geometry lines perpendicular to these lines I've just created. Let's go do a geometry point to point line. Use this J to the center of the circle, and an I jump over here to that geometry intersection. So it's the geometry line tangent to the circle and then the circle that I'm picking up. Okay, and then once again just geometry parallel lines, that same offset. So I'm going to do one to that side and one to that side. Okay, so that's basically how I'm going to put in my horizontal alignment with all those PIs at the corners over there. Okay, so let's have a look at the actual road design, that inserting of the road alignment. I'm changing to the roads application, and I'm going to select a new road file to work with. So adding a new road file. Okay, and then I'm just going to call this roundabout apron. Okay, so I'm just going to have to look at the template just based on the direction of the alignment, clockwise or anti-clockwise. We're going to have to decide on setting up the template conditions. Okay, maybe let's just do our layers. Yeah, I'm just going to call that ground. That would be my design layer. Okay, you can see the base and the design layer. Okay, so that's my new road file that I'm going to work with. So let's put in that alignment. I'm going to go alignment, horizontal, and graphically insert all my PIs. Okay, so and the snap that I'm using is to those geometry intersections. So geometry intersection snap could start anywhere around there. I'm just going to start and call that my start PI. And then into the corner with the next PI. And then down to this corner. And then the previous curve radius, I'm going to make that 17.99. Just leaving off that little bit of rounding to prevent overlapping curves. That would be my next one. And then this curve over here. Okay, and then that would be my end of the alignment. Also need to put in the curve radius. And right click finish. Okay, so that's my alignment with all those curve radii. So let's just check that in the spreadsheet. I'm happy with that. All simple curves, the curve radii. So let's coordinate the alignment. So alignment horizontal coordinate. I'm just going to do it at 1 meters. These are all curves. Okay, and I've done it anti-clockwise, that coordination interval. Okay, then I'm just going to file save project at that stage. Okay, because next up I just want to run through the process of creating the template, the road template. Okay, so what sort of template do we need to design for that apron portion of the road? Let's just have a look at this cross section through the road apron. So we need a figure 8 curb. We need the apron portion with the layer works. We need a barrier curve of sorts, and then the sidewalk for this raised medium section. Okay, so we're basically going to model from the road edge of the circular roundabout road, the current circular roundabout road. We're modeling just the apron portion. So we're going to set up a template with the figure 8 curb, the apron portion, the barrier curb, and then a sidewalk. Then we're just going to add that to that outside edge, the road edge of the existing circular roundabout road. Okay, let me just move that off to the side. I just want to keep it in view so we can recall which curbs and components we need. So we're going to model that all with components. So I just want to check in the template editor, so the existing curbs that we can use. Okay, so we got a barrier curb. I could use that. And then I don't have that exact figure 8. So maybe just to show you how we can go about bringing that in. These are all the current feature files that are available, that have been loaded from our knowledge base folder. Okay, but just to show you, if I go to tools and the component editor, okay, you can actually these days load. So I click on the load button. So these are all those feature files with all the components that we could see in the template editor. So that was from the library. But now we can also select a curb file. So the curb files, remember, come from knowledge-based software examples, but the actual curb file. Okay, so the standard curbs and then the SABS curbs. So I'm just looking for the mountable curb. So I could just open that quickly in Notepad so you can just see. I'll bring that across. So you can see those mountable curbs. We have got the figure 8 curb, which is the one we're looking for. Okay, this is just the geometry of those curbs in the curb file. I've just opened it in Notepad, so I can close that. So I'm opening this up and I'm going to bring in the curb file into the component library. Okay, and then I'd need to save that, so let's just make sure we got the figure 8A curb. Was it the figure 8B? That one. Okay, figure 8B that we need. Okay, so I'm just going to save that as, and I'm saving it into that feature file. So it's the road templates, the features. So these are all the feature files. I'll just keep that curb, so it's the SABS mountable curbs. Okay, I'm just going to save it in there. Okay, so just for now, just to close that. Okay, so just going back to my tools, my template editor, we should see, if I scroll down to the S's, you can see now we've got the SABS mountable curbs in there as well. That figure 8B. Okay, but then we're also going to need the apron portion. So we need to design the apron. So I could theoretically, let's just, for example, show you. So I'm adding it on the left. So we're adding it, our alignment is going anti-clockwise. So we're adding everything. So this is my chainages 20, 40, 60. So we're adding on the left of that alignment. So for example, I could put in the figure 8B curb, then I could add an edge. So that offset, the horizontal was 3.4, it's a 4% slope. Just coming back to this cross section, so the figure 8B curb, a 4% slope at 3.4 meters. Let's review that again. So that would be 0.136. So I could do something like that. So let's just go back a step. Just want to edit this component. Let's just see. Okay, that stop point isn't correct there. I just want to make sure it's tying in at the correct. So that's where we wanted to stop that cross section. Okay, so that's what that stop point is. That's where you're tying in the next added element will be added on. Okay, I want to save that. And then, sorry, there's something else for that cross section. I want the cross section to run over the top. So you can see the red line is underneath. So I can change that to above. Close that and save it. Okay, so when it generates this cross section, it's going to run over the top there. Okay, so let me just add that edge again, 3.4. Okay, so now it should be added in the correct position. Then I could add the barrier curb in again. Just drag and drop. And then that sidewalk, that's under the S's, sidewalk, 2 meters sidewalk. Okay, so that's essentially what we want. So I could save that as my apron file now, but what I want to do is I want to add some layer works for the apron section. So I'm going to design that as a component. Okay, So let me just save as quickly. Put that in here. Okay, just save that one. Okay, so I'm just going to close this for now. Okay, so we want to design a component. I'm going Tools, Component Editor, and I'm going to have a new component. So I'm clicking on the New button, and I'm adding, just going to call this my roundabout apron. Okay. Okay, so we need to set up the geometry firstly, just starting this tab. So I'm going to go put in the horizontal and the vertical. So that first line will be the 3.4 meter width, and the vertical we're going up that 136. Okay, and then I'm just going to make that the it's negative vertical, negative 0.08, and 0 horizontal. So I'm making it 80 thick. I'm just going according to our drawing over here. Okay, so I'm just using these layers here. So I'm just using that 80 mils as the top section, the paving blocks, and then I'm going to put in a 250 and 150 layer. Okay, so I've got the 3.4 meters, I've got the 136 climb, that's at 4% over 3.4. Got the 80 millimeters down for the paving block. Then I must go negative 3.4, so just coming back, and then negative 0.136. Okay, that's that line, and then we just have to come up again, so 0 horizontal, and then 0.08 to close it off again. Okay, just that tying point, it's going to be there, so the next component would tie in on that edge. We're going to be adding it on the left hand side, but this would just get mirrored, so it would be mirrored and work exactly the same on the, so this would be setting it up for the right hand, but when we apply it, it's going to be going to the left hand, so that would get mirrored, and this would be the high side. Okay, and then just the layer works that I want to add. Okay, so I'm going to put in that, let's just make that 250, the G3, and then I'm going to do a 150 G7. Okay, so that layer depth is going to be 0.25, and then 0.15. Okay, just over here, the line that you need, so top of layer works, if you right click, define layer work, just have to right click. Okay, and then we want to align those layers. We've got the right, okay, and then the shifting there, I'm going to put it on the right, so I want 300, and then 450. Alright, so remember that's going to be mirrored onto the other side. Okay, so that's basically just modeling, once again coming back to my cross section here. It's this section, so we got the apron, we're adding the curbs as components separately, and then just stepping those layer works like that. So it was 4% slope, so that was that 136 that I used. I just noticed that I've left out the 20 millimeter sand bedding for the paver, for the layer works, but I'm just going to leave that out for now. Okay, just to make sure we've got everything in place. The cross section, let's just check over there. I want it to run above Okay, and then we could add some texture. Let's go. I'm just going to make it cobblestone for now, or I could do brick paving, but just for this example. Okay, so this is a component. So if I save, and I've just had the one component that I've added, I'm just going to save as. So it's going to that feature file. Let me just call it roundabout apron. So it's a feature file that I'm saving. Okay, so I've just created the one feature and then just closing the component editor for now. Okay, so now we have all the components that we need for the apron's road template. So let's go have another look at the tools, the actual road template. Just opening the template editor and then just loading that apron no layers that I saved earlier. Okay, so just let's have a look at this, what we've got so far. So we're adding everything from that current road alignment that we inserted. So if I look at those components, we've got the figure 8B curve. We've got the apron section, which currently is just the horizontal and the vertical components that I've added, but it didn't have the layer works. And okay, and then I've also got the barrier curb, the BK1, which is fine, I can use that, and then the sidewalk, which is a totally separate component with its own layer works as well. Okay, so basically I just want to go to the component. So these are the components that are existing in the template. Then you've got the library with all the components listed from those feature files. So I'm just looking for the roundabout apron that I've just added. That feature file that I've added to the knowledge base software features folder, and there it is. So let me just, I'm going to delete this existing apron section, and then I can drag and drop this at the correct position. So it's over there. Okay. If you right click on these components, you can add it, but it always adds it to the end. So the drag and drop allows you to position it based on that arrow position, like I just did. Okay, so that's looking a lot better. I'm going to save that as the apron with the layers. Okay, so I'm going to use this particular road template for my apron road. Okay, I can close that. Okay, so now that we've got the correct template, road template, I just want to go to the tools, the template paths. Okay, so I just want to path the correct template. So it's the apron with layers that we're going to be using for this particular road. So your road templates, remember that you can have multiple templates per road. So each road you path whichever templates you want to be using for that particular road. So in this case, just the one template, but you can also have multiple templates for longer roads. Okay, so we've got a template, and then we've already got our horizontal alignment that we're going to be using for this roundabout apron road. And then there's just one more thing we need to check, is the vertical alignment. Okay, so to extract the vertical alignment for our roundabout apron road, we're going to match or pick it up from the circular roads road edge. So remember the current existing roundabout circular road, the chainages are going in a clockwise direction. So we're picking up the right road edge string, that long section that we looked at earlier. So it's that road edge. Okay, so just before picking up the vertical alignment, I just want to check our road expert. So Remember, we put in the horizontal alignment, we coordinated the road, we still need to extract our ground cross sections. Okay, so let me just run through that. So it's alignment, horizontal cross sections, extract. Extracting at 20 meters each side should be fine from surface 1, storing it to road layer 1. Okay, so that's good, and then I'm going to use the regression functionality. So alignment regression, extract strings, and I'm going to pick up the vertical alignment. Okay, and it's from road entities. Okay, and then we want to pick up the exact elevation. So you can see from entities, which in this case will be that right road edge string, an exact elevation. So important that we're targeting the road strings only. Okay, so I'm selecting over there, roundabout road, the R road edge. Okay, so I've clicked on it, but you do get a drop down if you want to select something different. And then just right click, extract string. Okay, it's going to be linked to that CAD entity. The regression functionality can also be accessed from this control center, this extract strings tab over here. So you can see that the L pivot, which is the vertical alignment, remember L pivot on a dual carriageway would be your left hand carriageway's vertical alignment, the right pivot would be the right carriageway. It's vertical alignment, but for a single carriageway, L pivot is your vertical alignment string. So when it's highlighted in red as it is over here, then it means it needs to be recalculated. The road hasn't been completed, still needs to be recalculated. But before we do that, I just want to check our road edge levels, and I just want to have another look at the template that we're using. So let me just go to the template first. I'm going to go Tools, Template Paths. This is the template paths for this current road, our roundabout apron road. And I just want to make sure, so we've designed everything to be added on the left. So we want to make sure that there's nothing that's going to be applied on the right hand side. So go to the Data tab. Just bring this across. So everything that's been added is on the left, so I'm just going to make sure for our left we've got a 1 in 1 slope. So I can remove everything on the right. For left full we've got a 1 in 2 slope, but then the right full we're going to delete that. Okay, so it's basically just on the left that we want that all these conditions to be applied, nothing on the right, so we're just leaving that blank. Okay, and then maybe that, so this is all left compulsory, those are all fixed conditions. I just want to edit the sidewalk just to maybe change that texture, and then changing the pen color for the sidewalk. That would be displayed in your normal drawing tabs plan view. The texture is displayed in the render view. Okay, and then I'm saving that, so close and save, yes. Okay. Alright, and then just the edge levels, we also want to just check in the alignment edge levels, edit super. Okay, so for the edge levels, I just want to check the widths over here. So we're not actually applying a lane width, so let me make that 0. Just gonna copy and paste that. Okay, so no lane width, just making it 1 millimeter, just so it's negligible. That's the template we're using. Okay, so all good otherwise. Okay, so it's mainly the widths that I'm concerned with. Once we apply the template, all those components would then be added into this edge level spreadsheet. So I've made changes in the edge level spreadsheet. The program will pick that up and ask me if I want to apply the changes. Yes, I do. Okay, so I can actually go to alignment and road recalculate now. And that does it. That actually then completes the design. Okay, so the roundabout apron design is finished, is complete. So let's go have a look at that in the render view. Got some pre-saved render views over here. You can clearly see there is the apron with the sidewalk. So we got the mountable curb, the apron, and then your sidewalk with the different textures. You can also do a fly along the road entity. The speed you control with your mouse wheel, where you've got these slower, faster buttons. You can change your eye position with the arrow keys on your keyboard. But yeah, basically that's what we've done today, is design this apron, escape out of the fly through. But that's basically what we've done, is to our Stockdale roundabout design we've added the apron, which was built up in the road template, built up from the road components. So the curb was a component, the apron, as well as the sidewalk. Okay, I think that's all we have time for today. Until next time, cheers, and back to you, Charles.
Thank you very much, Andrew. That was really, really interesting.
Thanks, Charles.
And this final image rendered in Civil Designer's CAD Pro module is stunning. If any of our attendees would like to trial our 3D rendering module, please email us using this email address. If you enjoyed today's webinar, please visit our website, where under the Services menu on the Webinars page, you'll find a list of our last 82 webinars. And by later this afternoon, we will have posted a link to a copy of today's event. While here, please also visit our FAQ library page, where we have posted around 470 short, searchable videos created from our webinar series. This page has become an extremely popular online support resource. Once again, thank you very much for allowing the time to join us today. Please follow our company page on LinkedIn if you have not done so already, where we post our customers' latest Civil Designer Showcase stories